Imagine this a month, some nights it felt like that I had it. Back on the mattress, staring at the ceiling.
Welcome back to another episode of Daily Life. I'm your host, Whoa. So in case if you are unaware, at the ripe age of either 18 or 19 years old, I decided that I was going to move out of my parents' house and move from California all the way with my ex-best friend to Arizona. One day my friend came up to me and asked me, hey man, do you want to go swimming at the lake? I said, hell yeah. So we go ahead, we don't tell anybody where we're going, we just up and leave and go swimming at the lake. Within 10 minutes of arrival, my friend asked me, bro, let's go ahead and try to swim across the lake. Canyon Lake is no less than 1,200 feet across. I was trying to guesstimate in my mind of how deep it was because I understood that it was like deep as hell. Like I was thinking like maybe it was like 40 or 50 feet deep. Come to find out, doing my research, Canyon Lake is 130 feet deep. I have never swam in a lake in my entire life up until this point. And as we're swimming across, come to find out, I'm actually negative buoyant. Meaning that like right now, even like right now, I'm 340 pounds. Meaning that like I have like a lot of dense muscle, meaning that I sink. About like a quarter way across, I'm finding that this is very, very difficult. And every single time that I stop like trying to swim, I start like sinking. The water is like up to here, like right at my nose. So I can't really communicate to my friend that like, bro, I'm having like a problem like swimming. And we get about maybe halfway across and I look up into the sky and I realize that there's literally nobody else around. And it's about a 20-minute drive to the nearest like firehouse where there's like an ambulance. And I'm looking up and honestly, like I was looking up for like a helicopter to like wave like, oh my God, like I'm gonna sink, like I'm gonna drown. We're about halfway across this massive lake and my friend can like tell that now, like, damn, this guy is having like a huge problem swimming across this lake. And I was thinking like, I was like dead center in the middle of the lake. And I'm like looking around and like at first I was thinking like I wanted to like go back, but like I'm already in the middle and it's already gonna take so much more energy to like turn around and like go back that way. So like I just have to like keep like going across. And at that point, my forearms started to cramp up. I'm literally like stuck like this, like trying to swim. And at this point, like my friend was like trying to like go under me and like try to hold me up. But he realizes like, holy crap, this dude's like heavy as hell. To get to the middle of the lake, it took me about maybe 10 minutes. And then to get like 3/4 of the way across to the lake, it took like another like 20 minutes. And at that point, I am struggling. Like I'm literally like under the water, like having to come up like, and then like swimming, and like I am struggling. Like literally, I'm about to like fall. Like I'm about to fall inside the water like 130 feet deep. Somehow I actually make it all the way across the lake, and once I get to the other side of the lake, it wasn't like a flat beach bed, it was like this wall. It was like this wall at like a 45-degree angle, so I'm literally having to like cling like on the wall as I'm like sinking. My hands are getting like all bloody and everything like that. I had to take like maybe like a 20-minute break, like trying to like cling onto the wall, but eventually I had to climb up into the vegetation. And once both of us were out of the water, besides the fact that I was exhausted, we had to walk through like thick vegetation that there was no path, there was no walkway like around the lake, and it took us like maybe an hour and a half to walk through all this vegetation. And we walk around, and we're maybe like another 50 feet from the truck that he had, and we see this dude in a tent, and he literally gave us some beers. And at the time, obviously, like, we were too young to drink, but we weren't gonna say no to that shit. It was like this crazy guy living like in his tent, and he gave us some beers. I chugged that beer down. Unfortunately, the story doesn't get any better from there, because like my friend, he had at the time like a brand new Chevy Silverado, because his grandfather was rich and he was like Indian, and he got like a huge settlement from like these people who screwed him over. So he got the grandson, my ex best friend, a brand new truck and a gun. We had a gun with us. We had a brand new 9mm gun. And keep in mind, by the time that we get into the truck and we're like exhausted and soaked, it was probably like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and nobody knows like where we were like this whole time. But he goes ahead and he was like, bro, watch this. He takes the gun and he points it out the driver's side window and he shoots it. And it's like so loud. And he was like, you want to shoot it? So he handed me the gun and I pointed out, and like I shot it. And I remember it being so loud, like the gunshot was so loud that it made my ear ring. And then like I put the gun like back in the middle console. And the story even gets worse from there. Like within, like it was lit, like I am not lying. This happened in real life. Like within maybe 2 minutes of me shooting the gun out of the window, 2 headlights pop up behind us. Keep in mind, we're like way out in the countryside. We're like way out in like the mountains and everything. So like to see a car out there was like super weird. And like I know whoever it is, I know that they heard the gunshot because it was so loud. And like I'm sitting in the passenger seat and like I'm looking through the side view mirror to look at it, and I see lights on the top of it. I see the bar, and I'm like, that's a police officer, bro. And like he tenses up and he's like, what? I'm like, bro, that's a cop. Bro, that's a police officer. That's a police officer behind us. And like he was like coming closer and closer and closer. And like I like look over at him, bro, and I'm just like, bro, just pull over, man. Just go ahead and pull over, bro. Just pull over. So we go ahead and we pull over onto the side of the road, and literally the cop just goes right around us, and we see the side, you know, like the police and like the bar. It was like a police truck, but like I know in my heart, in my soul, in my body that he had to have heard the gunshot. Like he had to have heard it because it was so loud, because it was a real gun. It was like a 9mm, and like he shot it, and like I shot it, and like my ear was like ringing and everything. And I know because it was so quick, man. It was so quick. I remember like I was thinking of like, you know, making this video today, and I was thinking of like all that happened that day. Like I really should have died that day. Like I really should have died. Like, I mean, I am so negative buoyant that like when I just like, if I stand like in a pool, like I just sink. Like I'm like almost like a rock. Like say like, do you know that if like a chimpanzee, if you throw one of them into the water, it will literally drown, because a chimpanzee is all muscle. This literally almost has like no fat on its body. So if you take a chimpanzee and throw it in the water, it'll sink. And like I have like a lot of dense muscle under all of this fat. And like I remember like when my forearms and my biceps started to cramp up, and I looked up and I didn't see anything. I didn't see anybody. That literally, like if I scream at the top of my lungs, help, I'm drowning, that literally only my friend is gonna be able to hear it. Like it's just like literally like like I remember in that moment when it was actually happening, I was like, oh my God, I'm about to die. I was like, I'm gonna die right now. I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna drown, and it's gonna be painful because my lungs are gonna fill up with water, and like I'm about to die. And like I was like, I'm gonna die. It was awful, man. It was like such a horrible feeling of like of the pain in my arms, the pain in my forearms and my biceps, of like the cramping and like not being able to breathe. And every single time that I would stop moving, I would just start sinking. And there was no bottom. There was no bottom to stand on anything. And it was one of the most scary moments in my life. I haven't even thought of that in so long that it almost like, it's like one of those things that's just like, was that real? It's like, did that really happen? It's just like, I can't imagine. It's just like, and also I was reading, of some articles. It wasn't Canyon Lake, but it was a lake inside Arizona that was like even deeper. It was 200 feet. That was even deeper than the lake that we were at. And it was like a professional scuba diver, and they found his body at the bottom 200 feet deep of like another lake that was like in Arizona, like when I was like doing all this research. And like, I mean, that was like one of the most horrific moments in my life. Was it premeditated? Did this man say, I'm gonna take this fat motherfucker out swimming and kill him? Shit, I don't know, and nobody will ever know. But all I do know is that within a few months, they kicked me out, and I experienced being homeless for the very first time in my life. And at the time, I was dating this girl. Who was supposed to be the love of my life and my soulmate. But that's a story for a different time. Actually, you know what? That's going to be the topic for next week's video of all the relationships that I've ever been in.